Hey you, welcome to the Becoming Her podcast. I'm Jessica, and this is a space where we talk about everything. We're going to be real and unfiltered as we talk about life, mindset, faith, discipline, and what it looks like to actually become the woman God created you to be. And guys, don't worry, there's something in it for you too. So wherever you are right now, driving, working out, enjoying your morning, or maybe even ending your night, I'm happy you're here. And I hope you enjoy this episode. All right, y'all, let's be honest. Oftentimes in our life, we're chasing the wrong thing. We're doing the wrong thing. We're going the wrong way. Very, very often. And it's not because someone said, go that way. It's because we're doing the things that we want. We're going after the things that we want. We're having a narrow focus when in reality we're supposed to have a broader lens. And you see, the reason why I wanted to record this episode is because as I was studying Ecclesiastes very, very heavily, truthfully, I think it's probably my favorite book in the Bible right now. I honestly can't stop thinking about it because I feel like Solomon is describing our generation. He had everything. He had the success. He had the money. He had the achievements, the pleasure, the recognition, the wisdom. He chased all of it. He had all of it. And time again, in the book of Ecclesiastes, he keeps using the word meaningless. Because at the end of everything, he realized that it was never enough. Nothing was enough. He wanted the next thing. And then when he got that thing, he wanted the next thing. And I couldn't help but think about that in my own life. Like, what am I chasing? Why am I chasing? If I truly believe that God loves me, like I say all the time, and that He is my provider and He is everything to me, why am I constantly chasing? Why do I constantly feel like I'm chasing? And I think part of that is because we've become really good at believing that the next thing will finally satisfy us. That next step in life, that next chapter, that next page, that next you fill in the blank is going to make you happy. You'll finally feel better when you get the job. You'll finally feel better when you make more money, when you get married. In my case, when the business grows, when you lose that weight, when people notice you, when you buy the house, when you travel here, when you go there. Life will finally get better, right? When you get that thing. But truly, have you ever noticed that your finish line just keeps moving? I've realized that in my own life multiple times, especially as I was studying Ecclesiastes. I'm like, it's crazy how, I'll use a personal example. I have this business. I work for myself. Yes, I also have a part-time job. But like, the moment that things feel steady and feel at peace, and I feel like I have, we'll say, free time on my hands to relax, I immediately get stressed. And then it takes me probably like a week or let's say the next chaotic moment in my life to be like, man, God, like I just want things to be easier. Like I want peace. And then He very quickly reminds me, I gave that to you last week and you got stressed out. And it's like this endless cycle of I prayed for peace, I want the peace, I get the peace, I freak out, and then I find something to fill the void and something to cause chaos or some way to find noise. Because when things feel steady, they also feel wrong. So what if the problem isn't that you haven't had enough or you haven't found enough? What if you've been asking temporary things to fill an eternal place in your heart? You feel this void, this emptiness, this longing for something, and you keep using money, parties, work, travel, you name it. You keep using that as what you think is going to fill that void or fill that hole or fill that emptiness or loneliness in your life, and that's surely not the case. And I'm thinking about doing this. I might do it. It's not that long. I think I'll do it. I'm going to read Ecclesiastes 2, like the chapter. It's not terribly long, so bear with me, and hopefully you like my voice. If you're listening to this, you must like my voice. But Ecclesiastes 2 starts off with the futility of pleasure. And this is Solomon speaking. He said, I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. So I said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire. So I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. So I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and madness. For who can do this better than I, the king? And I thought, wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. Yet I saw that the wise and the foolish share the same fate. Both will die. So I said to myself, since I will end up the same as the fool, what's the value of all my wisdom? This is all so meaningless. For the wise and the foolish both die. The wise will not be remembered any longer than the fool. In the days to come, both will be forgotten. So I came to hate life because everything done here under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind. I came to hate all my hard work here on earth, for I must leave to others everything I have earned. And who can tell whether my successors will be wise or foolish? Yet they will control everything I have gained by my skill and hard work under the sun. How meaningless. So I gave up in despair, questioning the value of all my hard work in this world. Some people work wisely with knowledge and skill, then must leave the fruit of their efforts to someone who hasn't worked for it? This, too, is meaningless, a great tragedy. So what do people get in this life for all their hard work and anxiety? Their days of labor are filled with pain and grief. Even at night, their minds cannot rest. It is all meaningless. So I decided there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are far from the hand of God. For who can eat or enjoy anything apart from Him? God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please Him. But if a sinner becomes wealthy, God takes the wealth away and gives it to those who please Him. This too is meaningless, like chasing the wind. So, I think Solomon is fascinating. I think he is so wise. And like I said, I think this is one of my favorite books in the Bible. Because guys, he actually got everything we're chasing. On a daily basis, we are all chasing money. We're working hard. We're sleeping less. Or I love how when he started Ecclesiastes 2, he brought attention to the fact that so many people pleasure themselves with drinking and partying and going out and think that that's going to make their life any better, and it's not. Your life is not going to be better because you're drinking to celebrate. Why does that have to be how we celebrate? Why does that have to be the thing that people do? I don't know. Never got it. Not part of my life. I don't do it. I don't understand it, truthfully. But then the part that hit me the most is when he talks about working hard. And saying, like, why are you working so hard? Like, why are you chasing all of these things? And then also with wisdom. I mean, granted, I think that being wise and having wisdom is a very powerful thing. Because if you have wisdom, it's because you have knowledge and you are using your knowledge appropriately. And I love learning. I truly do. Like, that's why I study my Bible, is because I absolutely love learning. But I think there's something to be said about the person who is only trying to be wise and learn and do all of these things for the sake of proving themselves to other people. Like, I don't learn and study and read because I'm trying to prove myself. I do it for myself. And because I have this innate feeling that, like, God has given me so many opportunities and so many things to learn and so many things on this earth that I don't understand yet. And I just want to understand things. I know I'm not going to understand everything, but like, I just want to learn. And he also convicts me a little bit on the whole money concept. Because, I mean, he even said, like, he had everything. He had all the money. And it never made him happy. Granted, I don't think I need all the money in the world. But going from Ecclesiastes to then a speaking event that I did last weekend, one thing that I found in that speaking event that really resonated with me as well is, like, we've all heard money is not the root of evil and money is not the problem. It's how you use it. But something that they said really hit me in that speaking event, because they said, how are you supposed to be the man or woman that God is calling you to be? How are you supposed to fulfill your purpose if you can't afford to fulfill your purpose? And they were trying to make light of the fact that, like, money is not evil, money is not terrible, money is not bad. It's necessary, but you have to think of what you want with what you are trying to do with your money. Are you trying to provide for a family? Are you trying to provide for yourself? Are you trying to build something? Are you trying to help other people? Or you just want money to say you have money and have nice cars and a nice house? Because that route is meaningless. When you're doing something to create an impact, it's not meaningless. It's God-given. So imagine for yourself if every goal on your vision board came true. Because that was Solomon, and he writes about that. Like I said, he had the wealth, the influence, the houses, the gardens, the wisdom, the pleasure, the slaves, the women. And yet he still said that everything was meaningless. And that in itself, as you're reading Ecclesiastes, should make you stop. Because he said he denied himself nothing, and yet it was still meaningless and he was still empty. And that was in verses 10 and 11. And I think one thing that we all have a problem doing is overusing the word enough in both a negative way and a positive way. But we'll address it in this way right now, because I want to kind of make light or make awareness of the lie of enough. Because when do we finally feel like we have enough? When are you going to finally feel like you've made it? Because your version or definition of enough keeps changing. Followers, fitness, income, recognition, success, money, houses, cars, all the things. You never have enough because you don't even know what enough is. And something that I started praying a while ago, when I don't remember what I was reading that kind of made me aware of how I was using the word enough, but I started praying to God when I feel like I lack something, is like, Lord, like, just make sure that I have enough. As long as I have enough, I'm okay. Because God knows what we need. While you may want more, sometimes you don't need more. And like, let's take like the financial aspect right now, because we're all probably struggling with that. We all think to ourselves like, oh, if I can just have this much money, then that'll be enough for me. Well, guess what? The world keeps getting more and more expensive. So no, it's never going to be enough. Because your monetary view of money is you have to have enough and then some. And I'm not going to say I don't think the same way, because I do. But truthfully, every time I pray to the Lord, like, okay, God, like, make sure I have enough. Make sure I have enough to pay rent, to pay my car, like, to do all of these things. And I know the God that I serve. I know my Father, and I know that He will never have me do without. And if He takes something from me, it's because I don't need it. So if I'm, quote unquote, without anything, am I really without it, or do I just not need it? Because we confuse blessings with identity. We let the things that we are given or the things that we have become like a personality trait and become part of who we are. And that's never the case. And I can say from my own life personally that anytime that I've ever let myself go down that road, God will very quickly and has very quickly taken those things away from me. Because I think one of the easiest traps to fall into is letting God's blessings become your identity. The business he gave you, the fitness he gave you, the relationships he gave you, the platform he gave you. Like I said, in my life, every time that I've confused the two or leaned too much one way, God takes it away. And then who am I? I've been lost multiple times in my life, whether it was when I used to identify as a soccer player, I used to identify as an Olympic lifter, I used to identify as a bodybuilder. Like these things that I did, these accomplishments that I had became who I was, and that's not who I am. And like if you haven't listened to my episode when God took it away, that kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about here. And when you think about it in the words of Solomon, like he had everything and he still felt empty inside. And so when we do that today and we feel empty, we try to find more. And he did that too. He tried to find more to the point that he literally said, I have everything, but I still don't feel fulfilled. And if we think about in John 4, the woman at the well, she goes to the well searching and wanting water. And Jesus literally says to her, whoever drinks this water will thirst again. That's everything that we have on this earth. When you are drinking, we'll say the 2026 water or the social media water or if you watch the news, please, for the love of God, stop watching the news. But when you drink the water from that and not from Jesus, you will always be thirsty. You will always want more. You will always feel like you need more because temporary things always make you thirsty. Jesus is permanent. Jesus is everlasting. So is God. And that is why he is the living water, and with him we will not thirst. And I think some of the times, too, we're not actually chasing success necessarily. You're chasing satisfaction. And like I said in the beginning of the episode, like you're chasing for something to fulfill a hole that you have that you don't even realize you have because it's subconscious, honestly. And so why we keep chasing more is when you compare yourself to someone else who has more than you, you then want more. When you see something on the internet that looks cool, you automatically want it because of good advertising. We always have to have the next phone, the newer phone. We always have to have the newer outfit, what's in style. Everything has to be more. It has to be bigger. It has to be better. It has to be faster. Because if someone has more than you, then you feel without, and then you feel lower, and then you have this whole, I have to be better than this person process. Why? That goes back to that whole enough question. You have enough, but because someone has what you consider having more than you, now it's not enough anymore? Someone has a newer phone, so now yours is trash. Some girl bought new clothes, so now what, your clothes aren't good? They're advertising for a new computer, and because you don't have that computer, now yours isn't good enough. There's a reason back in the day they used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's because if it ain't broke, it still works. It's still good. It's still enough. But today, that's not enough. Today, it is not good enough because what they have is better. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. And so I want you guys to also think about Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21. And I'll read that. And it's when Jesus is teaching about money and possessions. He says, don't store up treasures here on earth where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasure in heaven where moths and rust cannot destroy, and thieves do not break in and steal. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will be. What has your attention has your affection. If the things on this earth have your attention, ultimately they have your affection. If your phone has your attention, it has your affection. If that TV show has your attention, it has your affection. Granted, that's not always in a negative light because, heck, if your wife or your husband has your attention, they have your affection. But I'm trying to bring about and talk about the negative side of that. Because I watch so many people on a daily basis with their head in their phone, not paying attention to the world around them because their phone has so much of their attention and it's like a drug. Like they need it. They can't go a day without it. They can't go on a walk without it. And it's scary. It's scary to think that something so temporary and something so, I lost the word as I was about to say it, monetary can have so much attention from us. And it truly is. Like, it's terrifying to think that those things that were made by humans are so important and the things made by God are being overlooked. When's the last time you went for a walk without your phone? When's the last time you sat with a friend and your phone was in the other room and you didn't freak out? When's the last time you drove somewhere or went in a store without your phone? But then here's the thing. You have that watch that alerts you, right? And you get text messages on that and you can answer calls on that too, don't you? Everyone is so reachable. Everyone has so much attention elsewhere that God truly now has none of it. And then when you try to give him some of it, you have such a small attention span that you'll read maybe a verse and get so distracted and start doing something else. There's a reason why people have such a hard time reading actual books is because we have such short attention spans. And I'm going to say this from someone who posts on social media 6 days a week because I don't on Sundays. There is it is written in like social media rules that within the first 2 seconds of my video that I post on social media, I have to have a clip change or I'm going to lose your attention. How sad is that? And you've probably heard the phrase, like it's called a hook. We have to hook people. It used to be within the first 5 seconds. Now it's in the first 2 seconds. Because if I can't get your attention in 2 seconds, I lost you. That's scary. That tells me that you give your first 2 seconds to God and then boop. Well, you're not fascinated. It's not intriguing enough for you just to get your attention enough. So then God has no attention. But that TikTok has your attention. The Instagram reel has your attention. The pictures on Facebook have your attention. The YouTube video has your attention. Everything else has your attention other than God. And that is why you feel like you will never have enough. Because the things that actually last deserve your attention. Like having faith, love, a good character, having obedience, having people in your life that love you, having a relationship with God. Your attention should be devoted to your purpose and what your purpose is. Not stuff, not a title, not applause from other people. And I realized something very prominent with the coaching that I've done with people, and it's that almost nobody comes to me because they need another goal. Other than something like wanting to have a better relationship with the Lord or be more physically active, be healthier. Like those goals are different than what I'm about to talk about and what we've been talking about. But they come to me because they've reached goals that they thought would make them happy, and yet they're still empty. They have the marriage, they have a job, they have all of the things, but they're still not happy. They're still anxious. They still don't sleep at night. They still don't feel like they have a relationship with God. That is something so amazing to me, is that, and it's in a double-edged sword kind of way, is that people come to me because they want a relationship with God. People like my videos on social media because they want a relationship with God, and I am trying to push them into that. People come to me because they want peace. They want to understand the Lord. They want to understand why they're here. And those things can't be found in another accomplishment. They can't be found with buying something else. Granted, yes. I mean, you have to buy coaching, but that's totally a different thing. That's so different. The beauty of what I feel God has put me here to do is to help you find you. To know that you are enough. To know that God did put you here for a reason. To know that you do have a purpose. To understand that the quote unquote little that you have is so much more than you realize. To help you understand that when the sun rises every day, that is more than enough. To help you see that when you don't get in a car accident when you go drive, that is more than enough. The breath in your lungs is more than enough. The eyes you have to see, the ears you have to hear, the heart beating inside your chest, that is so much more than enough. To be able to look at the sky and see the sunlight, I'm about to start crying. Oh my goodness. To hear birds chirping, to see a butterfly, to be able to sit there and have freedom. Oh my gosh, that is so much more than enough. So what are you chasing? Why are you chasing? It's different to chase the wind, like Solomon says, and it's another thing to work for the Lord. So maybe today the question isn't, what else do I need? Maybe the question you have to ask yourself is, what have I been asking to satisfy me that is never meant to? Because again, Solomon had everything and still realized that without God, nothing was ever going to be enough for him. So I want you to think about this with this episode. What have you been chasing, hoping it would make you feel whole? And if you liked this episode and this episode truly meant something to you, I hope you send it to someone, save it, comment, let me know. And if you want to answer the question in the notes at the bottom of this episode, please comment and let me know. You can message me on Instagram if you want and let me know. But I do want to end with a closing prayer. God, search my heart. Show me where I've been asking temporary things to satisfy an eternal longing. Help me to hold success, relationships, money, accomplishments, and recognition with open hands. Teach me to find my identity in you instead of what I have achieved. And remind me that you are enough and that I am enough. And even when life tells me I need more, my hope is in you. In your name, amen. And I want you to always remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and likeness of God. No one can take that away from you. You are enough. You are loved. You matter. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for listening.